But right. Hi, team. Brrr. Here we go. Right, just checking all of the old look-see. Actually, not bad. Might have got it first time. We may have got the perfect position. Just hoping that I don't slip and slide around like last week. Should be fine. I've I've braced the structure, braced it. Right, I'm going to need a drink for this. Brrr. Righty ho. Okie dokie. A little bit there. Just give it a little bit of clean up. Ah, get some of the dust off the old girl. Old girl, old boy, whichever way. Mm, righty ho. Righto. Okay. Welcome everyone that's coming to join. Um, this is the penultimate uh, preparation session. I don't know if it shows it on here. It'll show it later under the description on what we're doing. Today, today is going to be 3 2-minute pieces at target pace. Okay, and we just have a 90-second rest in between. Okay, so um, typically, I I guess it's physiological, but also, wow, it seems to work. Generally, you want to do, before you're doing any sort of test piece or whatever. Um, we've done ones that work up in sort of time. The 4 minutes where we incrementally increased our pace. Last week with the pyramids, we're getting out to 3 minutes, which is just slightly under pace. But now it's about putting in the pace. Okay, so hopefully by now we've got an idea in our minds about what we think we realistically can hold in terms of our split times. So really, the idea of today is to use these three pieces as a guide. Okay, as in just searching for that realistic expectation of our capabilities. So, if we break it down into what we want to achieve from all three, the first one is really about getting out, getting onto a rhythm, okay, and finding a sustainable pace, tapping it along, and in our heads, rather than thinking 2 minutes to zero, we want to think about it like we need to get to the halfway mark, okay? And that's what happens in the first piece. In the second piece, we basically think about that middle section, okay, from the 3 minute down to the 1 minute. And we basically do the same for the third one. Okay, we don't need to sprint it, okay, because this session is really about the third piece. Okay, as you'll many a times when I've said it, when we use these intervals, we use the fatigue build up and the time that we've done during the start of the workout to get us to a point of a feeling. Okay. And so today, obviously, the feeling's going to be pretty intense because we're going to have done, a couple of 2 minutes at pretty good pace. Uh, and so it's really just about, therefore, making sure that that last one, we're not searching for like the finish. Okay. We will be searching for the finish in terms of like, fuck, hurry up and let's get there. But I don't want us to be sprinting the last one out. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. Historically, we used to do three 1,000-meter pieces uh, before generally a week, maybe 10 days out from like a 2K erg test. and it would be very similar, either 90 seconds or 2-minute rest in between. And it's really difficult because you're just like, holy shit, this is hard. And of course, you do another one, you're like, ah, it's hard again. And you do another one, you're like, ah. And but the whole idea is if you can manage to be consistent in all of those paces, okay, it probably means that you can hit that target. Okay. And that's what you should target. Now, if we're really struggling on the last one and we can't hit our splits and we're a couple of seconds off or something like that, maybe reevaluate the test to be in between that. Okay. Just because this is the whole idea behind this and this series that we've done is about giving you that realistic expectation, about knowing that you can go into something and you have an idea about what you can hit. Okay. And that's the main thing, right? Whether you exceed it or you don't quite get it, the idea is to know what you can do, because that is the biggest issue that I see with people using the row machines and doing tests and that sort of thing, is that they're like, oh, I think I might hold this. But have you done it? Have you done preparation for it? Do you know what you've been doing prior, working up to it, that yes, you can hit this speed or this, this watts or whatever it is. And so that's really what the whole idea of this has been, is to give you that expectation. Okay. So that we can go into next week, we can have a good warm up, bang, we can punch out 4 minutes, be content and be like, you know what, that was great. Because the whole idea is if we take this going forward, then you'll know that when a concept two challenge or something comes up, it's like, oh, there's a 1,000 meter challenge coming up. You can spend the 3 weeks prior doing sessions that will then set you up to be able to do it towards the end of that month. Okay. Because obviously, it's like, oh, we're going to do thing this month. And a lot of people will do, say, one at the start of the month and then work themselves up to do it again towards the end. And that's fine, right? That is something. There's two methods of this. You could do a piece and go, fuck, that's what I did. Jesus, it was hard. And it gives you a baseline to then work forward. Or else you prepare it like we've done to get to that point, and then we know what we've been working at. We know what our splits have been in the workups prior. Bang, okay, and we can hit it. So this morning, this afternoon, yesterday, because I'm already in Monday, we will do a very good warm up. Okay, full warm up, get nice, loose, limber, increase the ratings. Okay, I will structure the ratings to get it towards sort of our race pace. But remember, that's dictated by you. And then we will get into the pieces. We'll set up the machine, 2 minutes, 90 seconds rest, bang, bang, bang. Okay. We do 3 of them, looking for really good speed, really good rhythm. And it is about that, right? The first one will take care of itself because we'll be 30, 40 seconds into it before we know it. Then we look at that rhythm, we look at holding the speed of the flywheel. The second piece is about consistency because we'll roll into the second one and we just get it going, hold it, speed, flick it along, right? Tapping that flywheel. And then the third one is very much the same. Okay, just looking for consistency, not winding it out towards the end, okay? Because the last 30 seconds, or depending on who you are and etc, the last bit of any piece is just throw whatever you've got left, right? It's emptying a cup with a couple of drips, bottom of the ketchup bottle, bang, and you leave it out there as much as you can. And yes, you throw a little bit of form out of the window slightly, blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to gain or lose a lot of speed in that last part. Okay. If you're holding a 2-minute split going into the last 30 seconds and you pull it down to, 155 or something like that, you might gain a second in time, because it's working out over 500 meters, which is close to 2 minutes. So if you divide that by 4, right, you're going to have to go at least 4 seconds split quicker in the last 30 seconds to gain 1 second, right? Do the math. It's really simple. So that's why it's always about what we do in that middle part. Because if we don't hold the speed through the middle of our piece, can't make it up at the finish. Okay. You could try, but it's not really the wisest way to do it. Okay. And I know that that's how some people do it. They just sacrifice the middle and then just absolutely tear it to shreds in the last part. But it's not the wisest way of going about it. Okay. Trying to hold or maintain the speed, okay, is really what I envisage is the best way. Okay. And from what I've seen, to be able to complete these types of things. Okay. So let's rock and roll. Um, warm up. It's probably going to take us 20 something, 20, 25 minutes to warm up. Um, as always, just getting really loose, limber, moving, getting the flow, just all of that, and then increasing our intensity. Okay. This is just, as I say, this is the guide. Next week, if you feel like we don't do enough warm up, then you can jump on prior to starting next week. And if you feel like you're doing too much warm up, then you can sort of temper it a little bit. Okay. Otherwise, what we're doing here with me is really guiding you towards finding somewhere that works for you. Okay. As the individual. Okay. Beautiful. Ba-da-ba-bam. Okay. Ba-dum-bam. Oh, look at that. Okay. Nice start. Just get flexible. Okay. Elastic. Okay. And that's in these, I'm going to be pushing it. So most of the things that I'll be blurting out, probably the right word for it, are really just focal points on, you know, will be about tapping it, relax. When I talk about the finish, it's just a check, you know, are we trying to yank it in or have we got handles, round the front, round the back? When I talk about the swing, really it's about that pivot of the body through that stroke because we should feel like this body is swinging through the hips, from that 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock sort of position. Okay, really good flow and momentum. Okay, momentum, keeping that flywheel spinning is what we're after. Okay, once we get it up to speed, if we keep the same energy, the same flow, the same process, we should be able to maintain the speed that we've created. And that is the key, okay? To maintain the pace that we set ourselves. Okay, energy goes down, but pace should maintain, okay? Nice, starting to build just a little bit of pressure. Okay, start off with those long arms, staying out of the shoulders. Really moving with the machine, okay? It's like anything, you know, we start off working towards what we want to, how we want to feel, okay, in terms of our process, the structure, holding our postures, okay, and it's really easy to get these positions and these movements when we're not under stress or trying to produce the numbers. And that's why in these warm-up, we spend this first part just getting ourselves into that position, getting the feeling of it, and then gradually building it, okay? So we just, every few strokes here, feeling the push, building the pressure, okay? Getting it closer and closer towards training pace, heart rate's coming up, blood flow moving around the body. Okay, suppleness. Okay, good continuous motion here. Okay. Good. Feel that push, the hands, the feet, and that seat. Feel the connection. Okay. Okay, so let's look at increasing the pressure and the rating. Okay. For, I don't know, about a minute. I'm going to come up to about 24-ish. Okay. Just looking for good speed, good relaxation. Here we go. That's one. Now, so I'm just going to build that speed of the flywheel. Go breathe into it. Lean the hand. Roll into the front. One speed. Just tapping it along. Now grab at the front. Compress. Okay, take it down. Okay, so that should have felt quite nice, quite smooth. Okay, just building that speed, sitting on top of what we create, tapping it along. Okay, okay, firm it a little bit. Okay, and a bit more firm here. Start bringing it towards that training pressure. And hanging under the armpits. Okay, so we go again for another minute. A little bit more speed, a little bit more rate, a little bit more pressure. Okay. Moving in. Now, get it moving. Okay, I'm on 26 here. Just being elastic. Hands around the finish. Good. Breathe into it. With hands. Pick that with the body. Take it down. Okay. Okay. Really good. Relaxation. Remember, get the speed moving. And then how efficiently can we maintain that speed? Okay. Remember, as the rate gets up, we've got to think about this freedom around the finish. Okay. This inertia to change our direction without trying too hard, getting stuck here. Okay. Let's think about it coming in with that speed. Okay. The body's driven. The hands are going to be still accelerating to the body. Okay. And then that speed in equals speed out. Okay. And then once we start getting out over the knees with that suppleness, and then don't overreach. Okay. Just let ourselves come to the position the body wants to get into. Okay. With that elastic length there. And then we're already prepared because we've prepared through that recovery. Okay. We don't need to be like there and be rigid. We want to get to that 90, 95% set and hold that elasticity into the front. Okay. Just firming here. Nice patience, nice push here. Get onto that training pace. Breathing. Okay, so we'll go another minute. A little bit more speed, a little bit more power again. Okay. I'm going to be somewhere around 28 to 30, which is 2, 3, 4 points off my race pace. Okay. Looking for efficiency. Here we go. Building. Moving in. Now. And speed. Okay. We've used the energy to get the speed. You want to pick up the front, feel the push. Breathe, relax, work, rest. Tap it along. Down. Not bad. Okay. So starting to really feel that pressure that we can apply, okay, through that sequence of the legs and the body, really getting that good drive. And then we use that energy to get up to speed, tap it, tap it, tap it, okay? Okay, let's start to firm it a little bit. Feel that squeeze, feel the pressure on the balls of the feet as we drive backwards, arms out long. Okay, we're going to go 45 seconds, just sub pace, okay, and sub rate. Look for efficiency. Get it closer to our target speed. Okay, here we go. Moving in, free it up. This one. Now, okay, build a little bit quicker. And again, good. Okay, moving, swing, 10, and down. Just if you haven't, just going to check my drag factor. Yeah, thought it had moved. Yeah, hence why always need to check. That's one thing we'll tick off next week. We'll make sure our we'll make sure our date and our time and everything's all correct so that we can log it. Okay. Right. So let's firm it. Going to do probably 2 or 3 30-second pieces here. This one here, 10 seconds to build it, 30 seconds at race pace, okay, at your target speed, looking for the rhythm, the efficiency, okay, start to firm, okay, this will be 40 seconds in total. Okay, firm again, spread up, moving in. Now, good, rhythm. Breathe. Feel on and down. Not bad. Okay. So these are called little priming piece. Okay, primes us for the speed. What we're going to do. Okay. What we'll do in this next one is we'll do 30 seconds, go above it. So faster than pace, faster than rate. Okay. And then we'll do one last one after that on pace. Okay. But this is just pushing the body a little bit harder, a little bit faster than it wants to move, which means that it's like, oh, okay, he wants to go that fast. Okay, I'll help you out here. And then when we don't have to go that fast, the body is already prepared to do more than what we need it to. Okay, so firm. So slightly above power, slightly above pace and rating. Okay, firm, 30 seconds. Building in. Now, breathe, let it out. Okay, good. Okay, so this last one, I let's do it from a standing start. Okay, well, we'll try and let the flywheel slow down as much as possible. But just remember, when we start from a zero, from a no flywheel, okay, accept that it's going to take a little bit of time for the flywheel to get up to speed. Okay? Accept it. So what we don't want to do is be, like blocking ourselves from breathing to get it up to speed. Okay? So if we just stop here, we'll start from the standing start. Be elastic, okay? I know a lot of people have ideas about, 3/4, half, 3/4 full, that sort of thing, building it up. Find something that works for you, okay? You don't have to find the full length every time. Yes, we want to get the flywheel moving, but let's not get the flywheel moving with tension, okay? Try and really hang on it and use the body. Move the speed of the hands, move the slide, get up. Think about the speed of the drive, okay, more than our tension power, okay, rather than thinking, got to grip it, got to rip it, that type of thing. Accept it, move quickly, okay? So we'll just do like 15 odd strokes here, which will probably be close to like 30 seconds, okay? But just be comfortable here, right? Good setup position. Like for me, this is where I'm comfortable without like having to hold my body at the front. Okay, so I always feel probably just a bit before that's nice where we want to go. Okay, so let's build the speed, hold it. Okay, if you get above the speed, that's fine. Then just relax into it. Okay, start the breathing process. Right, here we go. Are you ready? Attention. Go. Get it moving. See, there it is there. Now breathe and tap. And down. Okay, so say to yourself, have a think about it. I reckon I was on speed 5th, 6th, 7th stroke, slightly quicker than speed. Okay, didn't think about ripping it, just thought about moving, thought about getting it to that speed, and then how can I maintain it? How can I breathe into it to stay relaxed? Okay. The first one will be off the start, obviously. Then the second two will be rolling into it. Okay. So remember, rating's up to you. Speed, something you've been thinking about, something you've been hitting on the practice sessions. This is the chart to try and hold that speed for these 3 sets to give us that realistic expectation, okay? All right, so I'm just going to firm it here, the last few. Hang under the armpits. This is just the last bit of activeness before we rip into it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Better just see what row, bro. Just launched your erg into the wall. Not used to standing start. Yeah, good. Yeah, standing starts, you can get a good shove on it, which is, yeah, it happens. Okay, hence why I've got a chest of drawers that I've shoved up against the end of my one and found a piece of carpet to put the front on, but I can still feel it. It is one of the things with the rowing machine. It does move around a lot, but that is just because of how the pressures are. Like if you're getting a really good push on the feet, you've only got a little bit of rubber holding it from going forward, and it depends on your substrate, which you're going on. I got polished floors, so I'm not the greatest to do it. Concrete floor's great, should be fine. Or the rubber mat, one or the other. Okay, here we go. So, select workout, new workout, intervals, time. Okay, take that set time up to 2. Take the rest time up to a 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, leave that flashing for a second. Okay, let's press that checkbox. What are we on? Okay. So remember, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to find our speed. We're trying to maintain our speed as efficiently as possible while we're under a huge amount of stress. Okay. Tension, relax the face. Okay, let's get rid of all of that tension, relax that face, open the mouth, keep moving, get the speed going, maintain the speed, efficiencies. Okay, so sit ready, get it moving, hold the speed. We want consistency. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Nice and relaxed. Hang, attention, go. Good. Good speed. Now, breathe into it. Trust your body. Leg speed. Ratio. Relax it. Yeah, no grab. Keep the flywheel. The rhythm. Now breathe. Nice. Okay, so it's solid effort. Remember the focus for this one. Middle, 2 minutes. Okay. Come out of the blocks. We're into the rhythm. We want to sustain the speed. Okay. Keep moving. If your splits start to slow, don't think about working harder. Move quicker, move more efficient. Okay. Firm. We want to build into this. Here we go. Yeah. Straight on to speed. Relax it. Yeah. Armpits. Hit the flywheel. Breathe. Okay. Tap. Release. Ratio. You'll finish. Relax it. Okay. Hit the flywheel. Hold the speed. Okay. Okay. If you could string those two together, how'd that be? Okay. Last one. Very much the same. Okay. This is from that 2.5 minutes to 30 seconds to go. Okay. Do not wind it. Okay. Don't wind it. Not concerned about what you can throw at it in the last 30. We've got to get to the last 30 in a really good place. Okay. Right. Firm. Really focus here. Build. Yeah. Good. Nice. Okay. Hang. Swing. Nice. Long arms. Relax them. Okay, sit back, open the mouth, hold the speed, efficiency, hang, swing, finish in front of the body. Good. Sit back. Relax your face. Beautiful. Happy. Okay. That's right out there, man. Okay. Notice that last one, just how if you followed my discourse, stayed relaxed, hey, kept everything free, probably maintained some good speed. Okay. Just click the menu button when you get a chance. It'll just save those 3 pieces into the memory. You can go back, check out your rate and your speeds. Okay. So remember, the idea was to get ourselves to that third piece, and then that third piece and the feeling for that, especially the last minute of it, is what we need to be aware of in that third quarter, okay, from 2 minute to 1 minute, even probably to that 30 seconds to go. Because as you notice, the first one, probably quite sweet, okay, got out, tapped it along, wasn't searching for the finish time, okay, it takes care of itself. It's the rest of it you've got to worry about, okay? And as the goal, remember, we tense up, we get tight, we restrict ourselves from our speed, okay, from the potential of what we can hold or what we can manage. And we keep the looseness and the relaxation. We've got a better opportunity to be able to maintain the pace, keep things moving, keep things free, okay? Okay, so just feel the body weight now. Okay, the other thing too to think about in your own personal debrief, what was the fluctuation like? Okay, couple of splits, 4 or 5 splits, no splits, okay? Ideally, it's very difficult to keep a consistent split, okay? Because it's changing on a rolling basis. You know, you might be in a half spot, okay? So you might see 2 minutes on one split, 2 minutes and one on the other, 159 on the next, 201 on the next. Okay. And it's because the slight variation, and I'm not sure how it works with concept two, whether, if you go 2 minutes, 0.5, does that round up? Does it round down? Does it round up at 0.6? Does it round down at 0.4? I don't know, right? So that's why when you're doing anything, remember to take it. And I know it's hard because you're trying to think about a whole lot of shit. But if it's within a region, okay, and I know some people probably use the average 500 speed as part of your screen and part of your setup. But if you don't use that, okay, and it's just jumping around a little bit, don't be too concerned about it. Okay, if it stays out for a while, as I say, when we do the piece next week, once we get through that first minute and a half, I'm really just going to focus on efficiencies, speeds, okay, removing that tension from out of the shoulders, out of the body, okay, not getting to the finish and trying to give it anything more around the back, because we can't, if we're trying to think about holding it on too long, okay, we get ourselves like this, okay, because we can't sit back and really try to accelerate it in. But if we're using that swing of the body and then the speed of that inertia around, okay, that's what can keep our rate up, okay? And this is my own piece of advice, but remember that rating is your friend, okay? And I know it's difficult because some of us can't rate high, okay? We've never done a lot of rating work, that type of thing. But you can maintain your speed, as I've said before on many occasions, you can maintain your speed by increasing your rating, okay? Because then you're actually doing less watts per stroke. You're just doing more strokes, okay? So I know it's a hard thing to get your head around, but and that's why when people struggle and they start losing their speed in the middle of a piece, okay, everybody thinks, oh no, I've got to work harder to get my speed up, okay? Whereas you're like, actually, just fucking move quicker. Like, honestly, just flick the hands away, finish in front of the body a bit faster, travel forward a bit quicker, okay? Increase the rating, and I guarantee your speed probably going to be quicker. But it's harder to maintain a high rating, okay? Because that in itself requires more energy to keep a faster speed. So it's the trade-off between, you want to move, can you move quicker, okay? Or do you need to find the balance between the two? Is it maybe just half a point quicker, okay, and backing off rather than, because when we start to think about trying to power it, okay, what we end up doing is we end up losing the speed of our drive, okay, because ultimately when we're looking for that speed, okay, we've got to think about a certain amount of power, pressure, whatever, but we also have to think about the speed at which we're trying to complete it, okay? So if we're powerful, okay, we're probably over tensioning the muscles to try and get that power, okay? It's like you're fucking lifting weights. You've got to tense the muscles to engage all the way through to do it, right? But on here, if we're thinking about the speed that we can press it, right? We've got connection, we're like speed, okay? We're still using the strength of our muscles and the power that we've got, but we're looking for that speed, okay? And it all goes back to that the absolute basics of what we're trying to achieve, okay? And it's to keeping the flywheel spinning, okay? Keeping it at a speed that we've created it at, which is what our number says on screen. And then all we're trying to do is use all of this, the technique, our physicality, all of that to maintain the speed of that flywheel, okay? Oh, right. Tell you what, I felt pretty good on that. I'm not going to lie. Been a bit of trepidation this morning when I was like, only because it's hard, right? And it's, you know, it always trying to explain to people, like how difficult it is, but you're trying to make it easy. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard. It's physically hard. It's hard to maintain. It's using all the parts of your body. You're like Jesus, like blah blah blah. But at the same time, you're trying to make it as easy as possible so that it doesn't feel hard. But it's always going to be hard. It's like this oxymoron. uh, Two questions. One, what should we be doing in the week leading up to next week's 4-minute test? Okay, question one for that. Um, I would say you probably almost want to have a rest day or just a light session, light sort of training sort of session. I would say what you'd like. What I would suggest is on Wednesday or Thursday, normally 3 days out. Do just some short bursts, right? Probably build it up so that you're doing one or two 1 minute pieces at your pace. Okay, so you could just do 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. And be fair, a good session would be, say, half an hour. And on the fifth minute of every 5 minutes, fifth minute, fourth to fifth. Yeah, so from 36 down to, from 26 down to 25, do a 1 minute, do the first one. So how many is that? 2, 4, 6. So the first one, say at 24, then at 26, then you could do one round 28, 30. And then in the last one, build it up to race pace. Okay, target speed. Or do the one prior and then just not do the last one. Because all it is just using your like just building into speed and then building it up because you're going to use the fatigue as part of your thing. That's what I would do. Normally 3 days out, I'd do another 1,000, or sorry, that's just for a 2K. So you could do another 2 minute as part of your thing. But 1 minute's sort of fine because of the time aspect of it. It's not, but it's just you want to bring some stuff up to your target pace during the week. Just a couple of times. Doesn't have to be a heavy week. It's the old classic of trying to build into like a peak, but we're not really building into a peak. We're just building this as part of our training. So the idea is you probably don't want to have a massive loaded week. So, especially towards the end of the week, and hence why on the Saturday I would take it relatively easy. I used to love not doing anything at all, and then having quite a decent warm up in the morning before my test seemed to work well. So that's probably one. After next Sunday's piece, we'd like to do another 4-minute test per comparison. Should we wait 2 or 3 days to recover? Yes. Yeah. So if you're not happy with how it goes next week, then I would say at least 3 days. Okay. But hopefully we've been doing enough so that you're gonna be on the money there, bro. That's what we would be. 20 minutes of warm up was perfect, John. Thank you. Yeah. And that's the thing, John. It's all relative to your fitness, what you've been doing, age, sex, strength, the works. But as I say, I still think sometimes that people under warm up because they're concerned about wasting energy. Oh, I can't do too much because I'm going to waste all this energy. But all you got to look back on is when you do pieces in training, right? When you do intervals, and sometimes you're like, oh, the third one was great, right? So you're like, well, what, third out of 10 minutes? So that's between 20 and 30. So is that where your body is warmed up the best? And so those are the considerations that you need to take in. What a burner, Clint. Thank you. It was so challenging and humbling. First one was fresh. Second one was like, oh yeah, a little bit. Third one, I crashed and burned and died. Oh, Pims, you'll be fine. Um, yeah. So Pims, just have a look at what you faded by in the last one. Okay. And to be fair, what I've and for people that I've done 2K coaching and stuff with, I get them to do the three 1,000 meter pieces. They hate it. I hated it. Suck balls. But the whole idea is that if you're the first one, you should be like, oh shit. Okay, the second one should be like, man, I really struggled to hit that speed. And the third one could be almost impossible. Okay, because if you're doing them at your speed, especially for thousands, you're starting to get quite like it's a tricky time because 2 minutes, it's not it's not super long, but it's just long enough to feel the pinch. But of course, you push out past sort of that 2.5 to 3 minutes, and it's hard, right? That extra minute at thing just depletes energy like you would not believe. And so just think about what your fade was. And if it was like a complete blowout, then just pull your split back, maybe a number. Okay. Try another 2 minute with that number on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, warm into it, that type of thing, do it, and just see if you can get comfortable. But, remember that when we go into this piece next week, um, the great thing is you're going to have me coaching you through it, which is not what most people have because normally they're doing it in their dungeon by themselves. Um, but we want to be able to really get the, I guess, breakdown sorted, right? The first minute, the second minute, the third minute, coming into that last part and how we're feeling and how we're pacing it, the rhythm, the relaxation, all of those things. And to to be honest, you've got to think about this in a way as just over a 3 minute piece. Okay. Because as I mentioned at the start, once you get down to that last 30 seconds, like bucket, just empty that tank because you're going to have less than 20 strokes to go, right? Most of us will have between 15 and 18, right? So it's like, who cares? Just bloody lay into it. Just do what you have to like get to that line. So, but to get to that, if we're already crashed and burned by that 3 minute 30 mark, we could potentially lose a second, right? But not hold our speed. And that's what, comes down to seconds, millimeters, centimeters, all the stuff when you're at top speed, blah, blah, blah. So it's really just about making sure that we get into that first minute well on our speed, and then we can have that 2 minute piece in the middle where we're holding the speed as efficiently as possible while we're watching our energy levels just absolutely deplete ourselves. Okay. And then we finish into that last minute, we free it up, boom, Bob's your uncle. Okay. So that'll be next week. I'm looking forward to it. Not going to lie, it's only 4 minutes. I'm going to say, what should I be doing in 4 minutes? I reckon it'll be about 1,200 odd meters, something like that. Well, we'll have a look. We'll have a look when we do it next week. So yeah, so just as I say, not a massive week. try and stay healthy. It's a hard thing to do. Just keep up a good amount of training, do a little bit of rating work during the week, keep that freedom going, that speed of movement. Because as I say, it's all about, we're right in a midpoint here for this 4 minute where we're we're sort of closer to, we're around sort of the 1,000 meter pacing, right? Which obviously some of us will be close, some of us will be quicker, some of us might not be as quick. But we can't. It's going to be hard to rate really high for the whole thing, but we also don't want to rate super low. And that's why just having some time during the week to think about the speed, right? Just to even if you're just doing some 30-second pieces while you're running along, and just see how quickly you can move and efficiently you can move with your power, okay, to maintain the pace, okay? Because ultimately that's what we're trying to do, right? Finding that balance, which is one of the equations we always talk about. Okay, right, that's enough chit chat from me. Great session. Keep up the good work. See you guys back here next week. I've got to go do some building. Right, peace out.